hair gets me every time now that I see you. I love it so much.
Thank you. I don't know
Like a
if this is like
badass.
a joke that will get me cancelled, but when I I don't think it will. But when I sent Phil a photo when I was coming out of the salon and I was like, well, it's definitely like it's like a super boyish cut, but I love it. Like I wanted that. Um and he was like, first of all, he was like, hot to like, to make sure I know he loves it. And then he was like, well, it's like, looks like I'm gonna have to change my pronouns to your bitch.
Oh, to your bitch. We love Phil. We love Phil for this.
I literally crumpled on, I wasn't expecting it. I laughed so hard, I crumpled on the street. I'm sure that won't get me cancelled, will it? That's hilarious.
No,
That's
it's
just,
cute.
it's cute. And I was like, well, yeah, because it is definitely a more boyish cut. So she's stepped
Yes.
a bit of like, you know.
Phil's ready to be dominated is what we're saying.
He don't mind letting me wear the pants.
I
I'm
love it.
definitely like the ferocious one in the relationship. Like, yeah,
Oh,
like I'm the more outspoken. I'll fly the bird if somebody pisses us off in traffic. Like, that fiery Croatian blood runs deep. Some of it needs
yes.
therapy. Some of that generational trauma that like she was fiery. She is fiery, and some of it's good.
Yes. Yes. And now with the haircut, it just matches the fiery beast inside.
I feel so much more like myself, I'm not gonna lie. Like she was feeling a bit drab when it was getting long and flat, and I kept trying to do things to it, and I was just like, ugh. Just like a
Yeah.
bit of bleach, a bit of color, a bit
Yeah,
of
honestly, this it feels like this is like the most you've
Aw.
looked.
I feel that. Thank you for saying that. I feel that way. As soon as I did it, I was like, whoa, like it looks so different. But at the same time, I felt like more myself than I had. Like I couldn't even remember. So yeah.
Yeah, no.
Shout out to
Embracing
my
it, I could
hairdresser,
tell.
Shout out to my hairdresser, Corey.
Corey did the thing.
Corey did the thing.
Yeah, and you have new ear cuffs too. Like we're just in our badass era.
Listen, they tell you when you're 18 that like you shouldn't get tattooed. Maybe they're like, luckily we're explicit, so I don't want to influence anyone's children. But I was told don't get any tattoos, don't get any piercings. You're gonna just look back and regret it. And as a 37-year-old woman, wait, am I 36 or 37? I always forget. I still want all the tattoos and all the piercings. So eventually I'm gonna get it all done. So
Hell yes. Get
no,
it all.
enough about my new boyish crop though. How are you doing? It's
Well, okay,
been a
so yeah,
day.
so today we are recording one day after the presidential elections here in the States. So obviously I'm not doing well.
Mm.
All day long, honestly, like I knew we had this podcast and I was like, oh, do I even have like the spoons to do it today? Like,
Yeah.
should we have Tigist on another day? But honestly, like as the day has progressed today, like I just keep thinking like how much more it's just such a reminder that our books matter. Like our words, our stories, stories by Latina writers, by authors of color, by the LGBTQ writers, any like by marginalized peoples, like
Mm.
those books matter so, so much and are so needed in this world.
Mm.
And authors of color need to be highlighted so much and supported and cared for and don't have to do the work. Like let us boost you. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? And so yeah, as today was progressing, I was just like, no, hell no. Like the only way to fight like the bad is to bring the good and to continuously show up. And so it was so like such a moment where I was just like, hell no, I'm not gonna stop just because I feel sad. If anything, I'm gonna keep going harder. And yeah, so obviously it's a shitty time.
Mm,
but it's still, I think it just shows even more that we have to continue on. And I understand that some people are just tired and don't
mm,
want to, and that's fine. Like let me boost you for you. But it also like it's also a reminder too of just like this is just kind of a symptom of like what the publishing industry already looks like. We're seeing it in a national setting of
mm,
what our
mm.
world looks like here in the States or just globally, I think in many places.
Yeah.
Um, but I think for a lot of authors who are marginalized, they've already been seeing this side of the world through publishing, through how they are supported in publishing, how they are boosted in publishing. And, so I think obviously today was like, or yesterday, today has been a very big disappointment.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were very hopeful things were going to be different, but it's also not a surprise,
Mm,
which is sad, which
that's
is so
so
sad.
sad.
So yeah, like listeners, obviously, I think if you listen to Publishing Persuasion, you're already doing the work, you're already boosting
Mm,
authors and writers and supporting each other. I just think that's the kind of community we've built.
yeah.
Um, but I feel like we've got to do even more and
Mm,
like support even more, however that, whatever that means. Even if you're just sharing more books and, boosting more authors. I just think it's right now is the time that people need a little bit of hand holding and like a little bit of just like comfort and support. So yeah, that's I've just been feeling like every emotion, but truly like it doesn't, again, like I said, it's not super surprising, which is
yeah.
super sad. Um, but I just think it's one of those things that we just have to continuously keep moving forward and like butting our heads. Um, and I don't even think it's like we talk about this like the glass ceiling or whatever it is, you're breaking the ceiling. I don't even think it's so much a ceiling. It feels like it's a brick wall.
Yeah.
And so we just have to keep butting our heads and I feel like you see little bits of joy and bright and you see these amazing stories of like we look at Immortal Dark,
Yeah.
Tigest book, like just blowing up black vampires. Like we freaking you could see it. The world wants
Yeah.
these stories. And so we just have to keep making sure these stories get out there.
Yeah.
Um, I know I'm blabbering on, but oh
No,
well.
you're not.
I saw Saba Tahir. She just had a book come out called Air.
Mm,
And she's always obviously she's known like she puts her characters through hell, right?
mm,
But but somebody asked her on a show like why do you why do you do this to your characters? You make us love them. Why do you put them through like the very worst things?
mm.
And a lot of it was like, well, I want you to love these characters. I want you to see yourself, your family members, and their characters of color. I want you to feel them, feel their pain too. And
Feel
remember
their
that this is like
humanity.
a yes, this is a human experience.
Yeah.
We're all, we see like wars and we think it's over there, but
Mm,
it's humans. We're humans. And so I think books and TV and movies, they're there to remind us that we're human and to remind us that we're really not that different.
yeah.
So we need more books that highlight differences and
Mm,
remind us we're human. So again, I think it's more of a reminder to continue to boost and support, which I've said about 1,000 times.
I think the more times you say it, the better. I think people need to probably hear it today. And yeah, like I'm so fucking proud of you. And you're such a fighter. And like uh, it's not easy to stand up with weight on your shoulders and to still do the thing. And yeah, I've completely wanted to give you the option to not have to like come on today and
Yeah,
interview
yeah.
someone and like, you know, laugh about cloacas or whatever it
Yeah.
was. But yeah,
No, but
you're
this, and I
right.
feel like this episode was so healing and beautiful
Mm,
that like I'm so glad we did because it
yes.
was like it was a breath of fresh air talking about big
Yeah.
magic and you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think sometimes all day I've been off social media. I don't want like
Good.
it's just been don't want to hear it. So like having positivity is just so beautiful
Yeah. And
for
I
fuck's
think
sake.
that that's important self-care, actually. Like, maybe this is like, like people kind of, there's this expectation to stay up to date with blow by blow, right? But actually, like Tigist said it so well, like, um, not just about mental health, but she went as far as to like saying to stay sane. And like, unless you've scraped the bottom of the mental health barrel, you don't understand how strong that statement is because it's not just wow, 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 looking after our mental health and stuff. It's like, no, no, no. Like, there comes a point where you're like, I want to stay sane, you know?
Right.
And so you should do what you need to protect that. And I'm so glad that you haven't been like doom scrolling because, yeah, the sun is still shining outside, you know? And sometimes it's
Yeah.
hard to remember that. And like I'm not trying to inject some toxic positivity in it, but I just 100% agree with protect your mental health, whatever you need to do right now, if that's switching it off and, you know, booking a holiday if you can. Like whatever it
Right.
is, do what you need to protect your sanity in this moment because it sounds like a lot. Even all the way
Yeah.
over here on the other side of the planet, I felt sick for my friends and I just wanted to hug you all today. Like,
Yeah. No, and you know, I think that was like also the beautiful thing is like we have seen so much support globally.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, it's just been interesting. I don't freaking know.
yeah,
I was at a book event last night and like during the event, I kept like checking and it was like seeing the states change colors because state by state,
yeah.
it changes either blue for Democrat or red for Republican. So that obviously Dem would be
Mm.
Harris. Oh my God, I can't remember names now. Kamala. And then
It's all
red
right.
it was Trump. So yeah, we were slowly seeing it ticking during the event, and but even still, it was like you're there, and you're still like you're talking about books, and like you see like obviously all this terrible terrible stuff, but
Yeah,
there is a sunset and a beautiful life beyond these terrible things. And I get nervous because obviously there's people like our trans community and just people of color, Black women in particular, um like have just been holding so much, have been carrying
yeah,
so much. And yeah, and just I guess to look beyond the bad and remember that we still need you here and we still love
yeah.
you and you're valued and
We want you
um
here. So I
yes.
that's yeah, sometimes it comes off as toxic positivity, but that's what I'm trying to say. We want you here. Don't listen to those motherfuckers. You know,
Yes.
try listen to the voices who are saying that like we're here and you're welcome in these spaces, which
Exactly.
yeah. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
fucked.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
can't believe it. And yeah.
Yeah. 100 same. Same.
But
Yeah,
I am
I
glad
don't.
we did the show as well. For a moment, I was also regretting for complete other. I've got an event tonight with Katia, and I was like,
Yes.
yeah. Oh, let's put this. Oh, it's there. Oh, I have it there. I was
Yeah.
like, did I put that up? And there it is. It just put
She's
itself
behind
up.
you. Yeah, okay, let's talk about that because I would rather, I
Yeah,
don't I feel the tears coming. I'd rather talk about the event that's coming. Okay, so it's 11, no, it's 12 there right now, 12 p.m.
correct. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So
when
like I
is the
also had
event?
like a little moment where I was like, the event is at 6 tonight, but I'll be going
Okay.
a bit earlier. Um, and I also had a little moment where I was just like, oh, should I have changed today? Like, because yeah, like I was anticipating that anxiety could be building quite a bit. Like I haven't done something like, well, I did that horror panel, but then
You
it didn't
did.
feel like the attention is like, because I'm her in conversation person, so.
Yes.
But honestly, like I kept our recording because I was like, I always do feel like uplifted after our chats and after our interviews, and it really does pull my head out of, the existential spiral. And just like you said, like a reminder, like, yeah, like it was so healing to listen to Guest and just be like, look at her shine. Like
Hmm.
she's just what? Like she'd be like 10 years younger than us or something. She's younger.
She's younger. She's
And I
younger.
just like sometimes when I see young people lately, not all of them, obviously, not all states, not all regions, but every now and then I'll listen to the generation like under us and I'll just be like, there's hope for humanity. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? Just and
Yes.
again, like I said, it's not all the time, but sometimes I just listen to like some of the truths that they're being brought up with and not having to like rage against the machine to like find some of those basic morality and cheerleading themselves. They get to start doing it younger and younger. And that's not like I don't know what her whole journey was. I'm sure she battled a bunch of shit as well. But it's just so refreshing to hear like confident, like sparkly younger people, Like it really
Oh,
makes me
yes.
happy.
Yes. Yes. I love it.
Yeah.
I do.
Sorry, went on a
Yeah.
side quest.
No, but it's like it does. It reminds you like how hopeful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you 100%.
Yes.
I loved her magic, her big magic. Shout out to Big
Such big
Magic.
magic. And it was wild that like I've never chat to her like that. And I was just like, wow, there's so many like I had that weird sensation of once again, like, like my community, like we're so similar in so many ways. And it was just like you just feel that like kinship to someone.
100. Oh, that reminds me. So I was at Isabella Banez's book
Yeah.
signing last night, and I was talking about you because this I was talking to this girl that she came from Washington, which is 2 states above mine,
Yeah.
for Isabel's signing, and then she also
Oh,
brought Sinner's Isle. And so I know, I was like, wait a minute,
stop.
what?
That's the cutest.
But yeah, we were just chatting and she was like, I'm so sorry. Like it's my ADHD brain and I'm so nervous. I'm
Oh.
sorry if I'm fumbling over my words. And I was like, no, like my friend Melanie tells me all the time, anytime we're at a bookish event, like we're all just these like bookish little souls that are just kind of like, we're just here, we're excited, we're trying to survive it. And she's like, "Oh, that makes me feel so much better." And so yeah, I was like, "Shout out Melanie,"
Yeah.
because
Oh.
you remind me, and it's true. Like for the most part, at these events, obviously we'll have the extroverts like Miss Katya. You won't have to worry about
She's
Katya.
the same. She's actually the same. Like she gets
Oh,
very,
really?
very nervous. Yeah. But see,
Oh,
once
see?
again, like it's so hard to know. And that's the thing, like, even though a part of me has been quaking in my boots to do it, it's that kind of thought of like, actually once I get up there, I tend to enjoy it. Like I tend to like,
Yes.
and I adore Katya, and I know she gets super nervous as well, so then I'm automatically more protective as well. But see, even that's the thing, like you wouldn't think that. She seems so
No.
but that's this whole thing. Like you came on today and you just stood up and you spoke your piece and you did the thing. But like it it's not it I just don't think it's ever easy for those of us carrying so much in our heads all the time. Like
Mm.
the weight of it all falls on us so heavy. A lot of these other people, they just go on with their day, you know? But you
Yes.
know, like, but
Yes.
yeah, I 100% am constantly reminding myself that. And yeah, I think once again, doing this podcast, even when I freeze up, I find something to crap on about, you know? And bless you, you've been so I was listening to that. I'm actually ashamed of our last episode. I was blushing.
What did we
I was
say? What
blushing.
did you say?
Nothing. I just prattled on and on. I was so ashamed when I was editing. I was like, man, I didn't let poor Montoya come up for air this episode.
That's
I'm
hilarious.
sorry. I think I just had
No.
coffee and I was extra spicy, but
Well, once you get excited, once you get going, you get going. And I love that.
I really do. Why am I like this?
It's my favorite thing because I'm not a natural yapper. And so
Yeah.
when you take over, I'm like, perfect. I can sit back and just listen.
Well, that's the thing. Katya and I are both like just so fucking chatty. So even if like we're nervous, we we just like crap spin together, which is what we do, you know? Like even
Yeah.
we're just all sweaty.
Yes.
We're just all sweaty, nervous bookworms, just like looking like we've got our shit together, but often, and I try remind myself in those moments, like again, like having had therapy and having like had a lot of time to like really look at these things in the mirror, and I got my CBD oil, like I know I'm going in there with like my arsenal
Yes.
and my
Yes.
ass. Arsenal's a funny word, I just had to say. She's going in with her arsenal. Um, every time I say arsenal, I just want to laugh.
Well, especially when
I
it Arsenal. Yes, like when you have that soft
don't
R.
know. That's so
Ours isn't as
funny.
funny.
Love a bit of a soft
Arsenal.
R.
You've got the soft R on the Arsenal.
Arsenal. And
Anyway, you got your
spell it,
arsenal on your
and you
ass.
spell it Arse, right? Arsenal.
Yeah, arsenal.
So it sounds really perverse if you spell it out. But anyway, all that is to say, I really try to remind myself, and I find that super grounding just to know that, like, we're walking into, and I think just humanity in general, like, obviously, like, yeah, there's definitely like people who are not sensitive and they give zero fucks about what you're feeling and they have no
Yes.
empathy. There's definitely people like that. But I don't think they're in the bookish community for the most part. And if they are, they're the exception, you know?
Yes. Oh, no. Yes, 100%. And I think that's maybe why like with this bringing it back to the election because it's all about me right
Yeah.
now. But I think that's why for me I was seeing things so different because I follow so many bookish people. I follow so many
Yeah.
readers and writers who I think naturally lean into a compassionate like
Yeah.
corner. So I just I don't know. I just expected maybe something different because I was seeing something different because I'm with my people
That's
who are
so
also
fact.
feeling the same thing. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. I'm not even
Um,
American and I was shocked because of
yeah.
the same thing. Like all the like big clever thinking minds. I'm like, of course, how could it be anything but?
Yeah.
Especially like I actually, and just shut me up if you don't want to talk about it more, but I actually like took the time to listen to a speech of his a couple times in
Oh
the
Lord.
past few weeks. And I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like just like, wow. It's just it's wild to me
Yeah.
that anyone would think that he's like suitable for any leadership role, let alone running a country.
I wouldn't even want to have him over for dinner, to be
No,
you
he's
know what I
yucky.
mean? Yeah, very, very, very yucky. So I am, I think many
Yeah.
of us are confused and disappointed. Um, and even like in like the bookish circles, like taking it back to reading books
Mm,
by authors of color or marginalized authors, I think if you're on that side, like, I see sometimes like big white book talkers are coming on and like, where are these like books by, let's say, like
Mm.
Black vampires? Like, where are they? I'm not seeing them anywhere. But it's because they're on the wrong side
I've been
of,
wondering this, like, does the algo just like, because yeah,
yeah. The
I'm,
algorithm is feeding you what you're
yeah,
looking for. And so if you're not actively looking for books that are diverse, it's not
yeah.
going to give you those books. So anytime I'm seeing somebody that's like, "Oh, I never see these like books by BIPOC authors," I'm just thinking it's because bitch, bitch, it's because you're not you're not
What, like, I
looking.
don't
You're not trying,
understand.
bitch.
Yeah, it's such a ridiculous thing to make a TikTok about. Like,
Yeah.
what point are you trying to make by saying that?
Yeah. And
Because
that's
isn't
always
that the
yeah,
problem? Isn't that the
right?
problem that there's not enough on the shelves, bitch? Like, come on.
Right? Right?
Like,
I love always the comments too underneath by like authors who are like, "Girl, we know what you're doing. Like, if you really wanted to know, just literally look right here." You know what I mean? Like,
I
come
feel
on,
like
girl.
I have to say
Do
my
better.
favorite new word I've learned from Reels,
Oh,
in regard to this TikTok that you've brought up. It's like, oh, the caucasity.
the caucus. Yeah, there's
I
so
don't know if
much.
I'm allowed to say that, but
I think so. You're
I
allowed
felt the
to.
caucasity of that TikTok, you know?
Yes.
I
We are
season my
overrun.
food, okay? Sorry,
We
I
are
watch too many
overrun.
reels and it's not a laughing matter, but sometimes all you can do is
It's what we're surviving on right now is just, yeah. Yep. I season
yeah.
my food. I'm glad you season your food though.
I just get so many reels about like people reacting to like white people cooking. Know why? And I'm just like, hang on, but I'm not in that category. Like I grew
Right.
up cooking with a lot of like flavor.
I've seen some of your stuff. It looks good. It does. You can cook.
Listen, it's one of my skills. So
She's
what do
a
you
dominatrix and she can cook.
I'll
She's
take
not
that.
denying it. She's not denying it.
How could I deny it at this moment without just
You
getting
can't.
attacked? You would not take it. There's nothing I can say right now to not be made the butt of the joke.
It's not true. It's not true.
Well, are you gonna take a little bit of time to just be now? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
because you finished your
I don't
book.
know.
Fuck. I
Oh
saw,
yeah, I did.
yes.
I
Let's
did.
think
I
and
did.
process and excite about that because that's like a
Thank you.
major, major thing.
Yeah, it was my zero draft. So she is rough, okay? She came in like
Uh,
at 40 or 54,000 words, I
mm,
think. By the time I go back, it'll probably be at 100,000 words or
yeah.
something. But I finished. There was a the end. Um, yeah, I started back up on it. So like, because what else am I gonna do right now? Um,
It's
so yeah,
distracting.
I think that's what it is. I'm just
Yeah.
because I know, like with my third book, Carnival Fantastico, I know my editor has it. I don't know
Yeah.
if she's had the time to look at it even yet. So I'm not expecting it to come back just yet. Maybe it will sooner than I think, but I know she's super busy. So I thought, well, what the hell else am I gonna do but work on this adult book? And it's actually pretty fun. So,
I know it's going to be fun.
yeah,
So
I'm
you're feeling
hoping.
good about your zero draft?
I think, yeah, I think the bones are really there, and I like the character choices I'm making. I like he is like the very, very morally gray
Mm.
anti-hero kind of guy. But he's very arrogant because he's super hot, of course.
Of course.
So we
I
love
love
that.
that chirp.
Yes,
I
we
just
love that.
I have to shit on myself for a second. I just I literally allowed myself to write in a revision note just now and I have tried to veer away from it, but I literally just wrote like a flashback of some guy and I was like, too beautiful for words.
Yes.
Because then he's like, he is like
Oh,
the
yeah.
Elven King, he's too not
Yes.
even put into words. And I laughed at myself because I know it's like this terrible trope that we perpetuate of
Yes.
like very beautiful men in fantasy.
We love them. We love them, but we also like to create them where they have like good souls and like are
Yeah,
kind on the inside.
correct. Correct. We're just showing beautiful men how they should be acting.
Exactly. Exactly. If more men read romance books, the
So
world might change.
how beautiful is this morally? I
Oh
feel
my
like
God,
a lot
he's
of people are
so
so invested already. Morally gray. He's too
yeah.
beautiful for words.
Yes,
It's
like
that.
they bump into each other and he's got like his like white, like buttoned shirt and they're rolled up at the slit like to the
Ah!
elbow. He's got like a cravat that's like loose and he's
Ooh.
yeah, he's beautiful. And then I have the female main character and she is like an academic and she's like very motivated. She has like all these like mommy issues, so she's very motivated to like excel. Plus, she's the only woman in her university, so there's that. And so she's like dealing with all of this, like basically like trying to form all of her like chaotic thoughts and like her just like she's like a powerhouse, but she wants to not cause waves because she's obviously in this male dominated place.
Mm.
And so she's trying to fit herself into what the expectations of like a proper woman is so she can get through. And so they bump into each other and they're very opposite and they, clash. And so I'm liking their personalities, I think, so far.
Angela.
Um, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Angela. This sounds so cool. It sounds
Fingers
like
crossed.
your face just lit up talking about. I feel like you've had a lot of fun writing. Was it freeing writing like adult over YA?
I think because and I don't even know if this is true for YA or whatnot, but like I feel like with YA, I want to be careful with my characters, with the plot, with the themes.
Yeah.
Um, because to me, like I'm thinking like this is teen readers.
Hmm.
And, I want to like give them, like write these characters and have them succeed and show their growth and like have hope. But with like this new book, like it's a little bit more messy
Ooh.
and there's a lot of like things that you can't resolve. And that's just part of being an adult. Like you're just like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to just find a way to move on around this.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I think I like that I'm allowing myself to be a little messier
Yeah.
with the characters and like a little bitchier, maybe a little I don't know. I don't know, but I'm enjoying it. I
I want
think
to
it's good.
read it so bad when I finish this revision. Send it to me. You know
Well,
I don't
once I finish it,
you
and
know I
once you
don't mind
finish,
zero draft either.
yeah. How's yours? How's yours going?
Good. I slower than I would have wanted, but I feel like I'm doing all the things I needed to now. If you asked me a few days ago, I'd have been like, oh, that exact noise, some dying beast. But no, yesterday I kind of like came to a part that I was dreading. Or rather, there was a note, and I was like, fuck, I still haven't fixed that. I still haven't made, or the hotel owner, the magical goddess type hotel owner of the ghost hotel. Like, one of the things Sandra asked me was like, what's her why? Like, why, like, tell us more about the hotel. And I was just like, oh, like, I don't know if I've done that enough yet. Like, I needed to add that in somewhere. But then I've kind of come to a part and I was like, oh, because it fits right here. So that relief of like, I've come to a place where it makes sense and it's instinctive to put it all in. And it's just fleshing out. It's so scary when you change something because you don't know, are you going to have to change a bunch of threads in the book? Or is it going to strengthen your existing work? and I was bricking it about this. But I think this is why I took like 2 weeks before doing this revision to just like I was just thinking about the world, thinking
Yeah.
about the motives, and it's paid off that I took
Love
that
that.
time before this revision to really like kind of think about. I just hadn't put it in yet, and I was like, like where's it gonna go? And I was like, here. So I feel a bit better after that. Yeah, I'm still hopeful that I'm going to get it done by the end of this week, but the end of this week might be,
Oh,
like um the end of American Saturday, which is
okay.
technically
Yeah,
the
that
end of the
counts.
week. That's in my head. I'm like, I'm not putting pressure to actually get it done by like my Friday end of work business hours. In my head, I'm like, yeah, just keep plugging away. If I get it done earlier, this is the chunk right here where I'm fixing it now. This is the chunk that's trickier and that takes a lot more. It's not really one revision. I'm reading over it like 20 times. So yeah.
Badass. Oh my gosh, you're close then if it's business Saturday for American
Hopefully,
Saturday.
American
Uh,
Saturday. I'm still hopeful that we might get it out on sub before the end of the year, but I'm also not, dying in a ditch if we don't. I want it to go
yeah.
at the right time after all this time. And speaking of time, I
Yes, yes.
always ticking away, as we now know. Um, we had the amazing Tigest on today, and it really was a writer therapy episode. Do you have the bio there, or do you want me to do it?
I have it, but if you
I can do
you
it.
want to do it, okay.
So, Melbourne girl, and my fellow Melbourne girl, I can't wait to meet her in real life now. Tigest Girma is an Ethiopian writer based in Melbourne, Australia. Her debut, Immortal Dark, is a #1 New York Times best-selling title and will be available in more than 10 languages. After graduating with a Bachelor of Education, she splits her time between writing and teaching. Passionate about exploring East African characters and myths, her work weaves Black stories with the dark and fantastical. In her free time, she can be found rewatching her comfort shows where the villain gets the girl.
Hell yes, baddie on the show. We've got a baddie.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was she was a writer therapy thing, and yeah. And anyway, I'm not going to drag this one out. I'm going to let you go. We won't drag out the last couple minutes. Go put your feet
Okay.
up. Go get crunk.
Melanie.
What? Is it all you can do? I'll cut this bit out.
No, no, please. Please, please let our listeners know that you use the word crunk.
Is it like the Bogan way to say it?
I haven't heard that word used since 2010.
What can I say? I live in a time warp. Every now and then I
Melanie,
do realize I live in a bubble. Like well, then again, not because of social media, but well, let's bring
hey,
crunk back. You knew what I meant.
I knew it. I knew what she meant. Melanie, thank you for that. Thank you for bringing that back up. I hope you and Katya get so crunk tonight and just have the best time. I can't wait for the update on your crunkness.
We're gonna get sloshed. Do you use
Oh.
that? Sloshed? No, we're not even. We're just launching a book. I also don't want to promote alcoholism, but now I suddenly want a list of all the words that you use over there.
Oh gosh. I guess just yeah, smashed, ripped.
Pissed?
And we don't really use that one.
That's us.
But yeah, that's you guys. You guys definitely
Legless?
get
Do you use
pissed.
legless?
No, but that one's a fun one. Shit face.
Shit-faced.
Oh, that's a
That's an
international one.
international one. Hello.
Hi, you can see me. Everything's good.
Yes.
Yes. Everything
Okay.
looks great. Got the
Hi,
books
guys.
in the back,
I
looking
know.
good.
This is so
Yes.
great. How are you guys? It's
So
like I don't know
good.
what time is it where you guys are? 'Cause it's like in the morning for me.
Well, Melanie, I think you guys are in the same
We're in
city.
the same state. So
No way. Okay, that's awesome.
so it's 11 here too, but
Yes.
over there
Okay.
in
Oh,
autumnal America, I know.
yes,
Yeah.
it is 4 p.m. over
Okay.
here. The day
That's not too bad.
before. The day before, right? You guys are
All
day ahead.
right. That part always gets me. I'm always one day ahead, so I always respond to emails like at inappropriate times. I try to fix it though.
It's
No, I
hard.
mean, it's just in this day and age, we're all connected, and so
Mm.
this is just how I think, in publishing in particular, like we're all across the board. So emails are coming in all the time, random
Like,
times.
oh, it's just awful. Like, don't even look into my email account. But this is so great. Thank you for having me on your podcast. I'm excited to be here.
No, thank you for joining us. Honestly, it's been so fun to see the huge success of your book, and rightly so. It deserves all the success. You
Thank you
deserve
so
all the
much.
success. So, congratulations.
Thank you. And I actually want to thank you officially for blurbing my book as well, because you were the first person that ever got back to me. So you hold a very special place in my heart. Thank you for that.
Oh, no, of course. That is so special to hear. I appreciate that. And
Yeah,
I was honored to be able to because it's so damn good.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and you have a vampire book coming out soon too,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is I can't wait for that. Like,
No, I
wow.
know. It's so fun to see and I think we were both on that Publishers Weekly piece, like the renaissance
Mm, mm,
of vampires, right? Like it's
yes.
happening. And we're getting to see vampires in a whole new light and from
Yes.
different cultures and backgrounds.
I love it.
Yeah, more,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, you can never have enough. That's it.
No, you
Yeah,
can't.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's so accurate. Like publishing is always like, oh, vampires are out. I'm like, when are they out though? Like when? When are people
Yeah.
not reading vampire books? I don't see it personally, but
Yes. Yes. They're always in for me. I agree.
Yeah, 100%. Well, we'll get more into the book, but first we want to know a little bit about you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, okay. So I am an author. I'm based in Melbourne, Australia, but I'm originally from Ethiopia. And yeah, Immortal Dark is my debut book, but I've been writing a few books before this one. I had about four books before Immortal Dark, uh, sort of made it in a way, and others are like shelved in a corner where maybe one day they'll see the light. But I've always wanted to be a writer since I was about 15 years old, because I read through all of the fantasy books in my high school library, and I asked the librarian, "Can I please get more?" And she was like, "Oh, you have to wait a couple of weeks." And I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna wait. I can't handle weeks." So I went on my laptop and I searched, are there stories online for me to read? And at that point, there was Wattpad, which is, this amazing source of online stories. And I realized people were the ones that were posting those stories. So I was like, for the first time, being an author became very close to me. I was like, oh, it's just typing and putting it up. I was like, it's not this mysterious thing you could do far away from me. And yeah, I think I was about 15, 16 when I started up writing my first chapter and putting it up on Wattpad. And just, I got addicted to the feeling of sharing stories. That's how I started.
it is
I
addictive
love
sharing
that.
stories. And I love to
Oh my
hear
goodness.
about this because I've heard about Wattpad, but I don't really know
Mm.
what it's about. Wattpad? Wattpad?
Wattpad. Yeah, at the end. Yes. It's basically just like there's millions of people with accounts, writers, that
Mm.
could just post weekly a chapter, and then there will be readers. You could just go online and you could just read and you could comment on it directly. And it shows you how many views you've gotten and how many people have commented, how many people have shared it. I think now it's changed into like a paid service. Some stories are like you have to pay a certain amount. Before though, everything was free. So
Mm.
you would get like a story that's like, I don't know, 500 chapters long for free on there. And you just read it.
I freaking love that so much. And it's like the purest form of art. Like you're just out
Mhm.
here posting because you just love words. And you know what I mean? Like that I love.
It just
And
connected me to all these people that also were interested in the same thing I was. Whereas my real life friends, they didn't really want to read books, right?
yeah. Oh my gosh. I freaking love that. And so many like big authors, that's where they got their start too.
Mm,
And just
mm.
like, foot on the pavement, just out here writing the stories and getting
Yeah.
everybody excited. I love that you were like already in it at 15, just out here authoring.
Yeah. I'm glad none of those are online. I took them all down. I buried them. But it's fun to go back and look what interested me. And funnily enough, it was vampires back then too. And now,
Aha.
but now they're better. So my writing has gotten better, hopefully.
Was there like a vampire like book or movie or TV show like that really like sunk its teeth into you? Like you were
Yeah.
obsessed?
I would say there's two. The Vampire Diaries. It came out at the perfect time because I was
Yeah.
still about 13, 14. I was going to go into my teen years. And, when you're at that age, you want to read about older teens. And Elena was about 17, the main character in the Vampire Diaries. So I was like, this is what I have to look forward to. So I lied to myself, thinking, my high school experience was going to be this awesome, epic romance between, me and a vampire. But I just ate it up when I was about 14 and 13. And I just grew up with the show because it had 7 seasons. So it
Wow.
finished by the time I was in university or something. And I just grew up with it. I felt really attached to the characters. It was just my comfort. And when that finished, I think I was like, oh, wait, I need something else to comfort me. I need a story that I can escape to. And I think probably the Vampire Diaries ending gave me the confidence and permission to start out my own. Because I feel like I wouldn't have written a vampire book if the Vampire Diaries hadn't finished. Because I was like, it's there.
Yeah,
But
you're
yeah,
like, I'm
Vampire
getting what I
Diaries.
need. Yeah.
Right. If you get what you need like directly, you don't feel the need to create something else that replaces that. The whole is left in me, basically. But yeah.
Mhm.
And Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead, which is a book series. Amazing.
Yeah.
Top. Yeah.
Ooh. So, did you ever watch the show? I never got to see it, but but
The show, yes, a bit. I like a few episodes in, and then I did not like it as much as I hoped.
yeah.
But I don't know why. Sometimes, adaptations do really well. Sometimes it depends on your audience. I think people that haven't read the books really loved it. People that read it, they were like, yeah, it's always
Yeah.
a hit or miss. You don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's real.
100%. Yeah, it's if they don't do pay homage to the characters you love the right way, just immediately know?
Yeah, yes, yes.
Well, I want to ask, we love to ask our guests
Mhm.
few random questions. So I want to know what's the strangest thing you own?
Oh my goodness. This is a very difficult question, like, because I'm not a strange person. I'm kidding. And I was really racking my brain, and I was like, I ended up having nothing. So I'm gonna tell you the most precious thing I own.
I love
Um,
that.
yeah, because I had to supplement something. And it's my great grandma's wedding jewel set, and I received that very recently because I never got to meet my grandma, and it was like my great grandma was like a step above that. And I was like, I would never have that kind of direct connection to her. So I received it recently from my aunt. And I was like listening to the stories of how they would do different kind of jewels at that time period because it's like East Africa, rural area they were born in. And I was like, it's so precious. I'm gonna hold on to this and yeah, carry it with me. So there's that. Hope that works.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you.
It works. We'll take it. We'll take it. That's
Okay.
amazing. Yeah. What's something you think about way too often? What's your Roman Empire?
Mm. It's the fact that I will never have enough time to do all the things I want or publish all the books I want. It's so silly, but it haunts me daily. Now that I'm like having my first taste of publishing, I have just all these ideas in my notes app, and I just get a panic attack of they'll not all of them will make it out. It's such a like I'm like gut punch. 'Cause I want them to be out there, and I want to have all the time to develop them individually. But I'm only one tiny woman. I'm already struggling with my deadline, so I'm just like, that's never gonna happen. So I have to face my fear of time passing me by.
That's so
That's real.
real.
It's real.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how
Okay.
familiar you guys are with Hamilton the musical, but there's a song and it's been playing in my head ever since you said it. It's like, how do you write like you're running out of
Yeah,
time? Or
out of
why do
time.
you write like
Yes,
you're running out of time? And it's
because
so real.
we
Yeah.
are running out of time every day.
So many good
Literally.
ideas too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
haunts me. I wish I
Yeah.
had just more time. Yeah.
Yeah, like quit sleeping, quit doing
Yeah, right.
everything outside of life. We need all of your
Mm,
books. Just
exactly. I can't complain to be honest. I started this when I was young, but it still feels like it's not enough. I don't know what it is. I have to
it's
face it.
I feel like that's a very real human thing that we probably
Okay.
like all super feel.
Okay,
The
that's good. That
ticking
makes me feel better.
the ticking hand of time.
Yes, it's just always in the back of my head now. Uh-oh, this year's gone. Like before a year was just a year. Now a year is like oh, I could maybe get 2 books out. And I'm like, what? Okay, let's just breathe. You can barely do one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean that it just shows that it's like your true passion and you
Mm,
found your calling and
yes,
now it's like it's all you can think about because it's something you love
exactly.
so much.
For
I
sure. I
love
love
that.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell us like a little bit about your publishing journey? Like how did we
Okay.
go from Wattpad to here we
Good
are
question.
now? Yeah.
Yes. So I finished my first official novel when I was about 18. Looked at it, I was like, this is horrible. Put it aside. Because at that point, some parts of your brain start to develop and you start to have, that arrogance of teen arrogance fades away and the reality hits and you're like, whoa, I was just writing nothing basically. So I was like, let me learn how to do story structure, plot, character arcs. What is character arcs? So I started to learn online, just searching up books, author interviews. I used to really depend on them for just educating me on what I don't know. And then on Twitter, I was really active on Twitter. Pitch Wars was something that was going around, which is a mentorship program where you get paired up with an author and they help you revise a book and then put it up to the agents. Like you get to query agents with that book. And I was like, that's perfect. I need mentorship. And I applied in 2018 and I got in with my second book. And I was like, oh my goodness,
Wow.
yes, I know. I got so lucky. And Mel and Alicia, who were who were my authors, they were together to mentor me. They helped me revise that book really, really well. I learned so much from them about the industry as well. And then we put it up. We sent it to the agents. Sadly, it did not do well. It got rejected. And then I was like, okay, at least now I know how the process goes. I can do this by myself. So the year after that, I wrote a new book, sent it off to agents, got rejected. At this point, I was like, wait, what's happening? But I think being on Twitter and seeing all of my mutuals get success to getting those book deals helped me keep that dream alive. Otherwise, I feel like it would have been too many rejections. It would have gotten to me, and I don't think I would have picked up another, I don't know, my pen, my writing pen. But seeing every other week, I'll go on Twitter and be like, oh, someone I know really closely made it. So it's not this far away dream. So I
Mm.
was like, for Immortal Dark, which was the fourth one, the one that was coming up, it came to me during COVID lockdown, where I was like, I have all this time now. I can't really give up. I have to try one more time, sort of thing. And Melbourne had the longest lockdown in the world. We had like so many months inside, you know.
I'm
And
holding you
yeah,
right now. I'm holding you as I remember the pain of and like literally an hour out, you could be on a walk. But anyway, dark days.
it was actually terrifying. It was just dystopian in every sense. And I had all these days at home, so I was like, I can't waste this opportunity, sort of thing. Because I knew the moment the lockdown ended, I would enter the workforce and my time would be limited. So
Hmm.
let's do one more push. Let's do what we love to do and write about vampires. And Immortal Dark came out in like 6, 7 months. And I lightly started pitching it on TikTok and Twitter, saying, anyone interested in black vampires? Just, testing out the field. And people were like, yes, we want it. And I was like, really? Are you sure? And they was like, yes. And the more I posted, the more I talked about it, even before the book was finished, it gave me, that motivation I needed to keep going, that even if publishing didn't want this book, there were readers out there that want stories with diversity, fantasy with diversity, which is my thing. And I just hanged on to that hope, that fragile hope as a writer. That's all you have. You have to keep, daydreaming, being delusional, whatever those words are. You have to cling to those. And yeah, I queried it to my agent, Paige, and she loved it, picked it up. We revised it for a couple of months and we went on submission to editors. And within a few days, my editor at Lyra Brown, Rukaya, responded. She's like, I want this. And she was like, she offered right there. I was like, whoa. Because she was also, funnily enough, looking for Black fantasy books. And that's why I think the power of TikTok is just it puts you on the right algorithm sometimes and connects you directly to your audience, in this case, my editor, who was also looking for a book like mine. So it was like magic in the end. Hard and then magic.
Yeah, I freaking love it. Shout out to Rakaya. We've had Rakaya on the show.
You
She
have?
is
Okay.
amazing. Yeah, so
She's
so
amazing.
glad that it worked out and you guys now have this amazing book
Mm.
together, like the whole story.
It's magic. Yeah.
Yeah. yeah,
It just
congrats,
worked out in
man.
the end. You just can't give up. That's
Yeah.
what I know it's a corny thing to say, but I have to tell you guys honestly because you could be one book away, just like one book away from your dreams working out.
Mm.
And once you really realize that, there's nothing that can help stop you from chasing it. Yeah. So
Yes.
keep going out there.
Yes, and I love your mentality, and I really love what you said that you would look in your feed and you would see your friends and peers succeeding, and you were
Mhm.
like, like it's possible for me too, you know?
For
Whereas
sure.
like a scarcity mindset, which is like often how we start out in this sometimes, is
Mhm.
like, it can't be me because it was them. And that's such a
Uh-huh.
dangerous mindset to have.
Yes.
Whereas the way you were looking at it, it's such a like it feeds your soul because every
For
time
sure.
you get a
Yeah.
rejection, you're like, but my friend managed
Mhm.
after all this time and all these rejections, like maybe I can too, you know? So I love,
Yeah, yes, yes, definitely. You really have to switch that mindset quickly if you want to survive in this industry, because it will always, someone will always be doing better than you are. And
mm,
it's okay. Let them have their flowers, let them have their time, and yours could come down the road. It's okay. Like, life is long and you will have many books in you. Just let that fear go.
Oh
mm,
my God. For real. That is such good, that's good advice too, because it's so true. Like, and no matter what stage in your career you're at, like, there's always going to be someone that's just killing
Right,
it. And
mm,
just
just
up
like,
there.
yeah, just, you're just sitting here watching, like, holy shit,
Yeah,
like, that is
yeah.
amazing. But it
And you know what the
doesn't,
funny part is? The people
yeah.
that you are looking up to, they're not looking at back. They're looking at the person at before them. So it's just like this ladder. Everyone's just looking up and up and up. So don't worry.
Yes.
They're stressed too. They're looking up as well. It's
ah,
they're always looking up. They're always trying to recreate whatever worked for them, and that's another stress in itself. So don't worry.
mm,
That's
mm,
it.
mm.
That is freaking it right there. No.
Yeah.
And especially because Melanie and I, we met on during Pitch Wars. We were a class of
Okay.
2020. And so
Okay. Yeah.
you could like, especially with something like Pitch Wars, because it's so public and you're
Mm.
watching your peers, some of them just excel and getting the agents right away and selling right away. And so,
Hmm.
because it's this public platform, or
Yeah.
was, rest in peace, but like,
Oh yeah.
I think you learn right then and there, like, okay, I do have to shift my mindset because I'm watching my peers, my friends who I was like in arms with doing these things, and so yeah, I think it's the only way to survive, and I think that's great advice.
Yes. Yeah.
Is there anything in like the publishing industry or business now that you're here, like that has surprised you?
Hmm. I think the one thing that keeps surprising me is just the deadline nature of it and the timeline of when a book comes out and when it's finished. I think I always imagine in my head the moment an author finished a book, within a month or two, it'd be on the shelves or something. I
Mhm.
don't know why. It's a myth. But in the reality of publishing, you need to hand in your book almost a year before it's on shelves. And that time again, it's just like, what is all that time? You know what I mean? I don't understand why it needs it didn't even take me that long to write it sometimes. And you wonder why it's such a slow industry. But the other thing on that side is like the deadlines, even with that, is quite tight. Like beforehand, before I entered the publishing industry, I had all this time to work on Immortal Dark with no care in the world. Now I'm working on book two. And we have to hand it in within a year, right? And you think a year is so long, not when you're working on a book though. And
Right.
especially because I think I used to obviously I would work a few weeks on Immortal Dark in the past, and I would take 3 weeks off, and I would come back and I'll take off. So it didn't feel like I was spending that much time. Now, though, you can't afford to take those times off. You have to really be strategic about the times you take off. So it's a new challenge I'm facing, and I think you can probably relate to this as well. But it's just interesting how if you miss a deadline, it pushes back everything or something. Like it delays the publishing date and it has all these domino effect, I guess. And I'm
Mm.
like, wow, I kind of miss sometimes the freedom of just me writing for, you don't know how long it takes you to put a book out. It's just done when it's done. Now we have a date, which makes it interesting.
That's so real. What about
Mhm.
social media aspect of things? How do you find that plays in on top of everything?
Yeah. You know, I think it's only recently that my relationship with social media has changed once the book has been out. So it's been out for 2 months. Now readers are discovering it and tagging you constantly and stuff like that and like posting about it. Sometimes you on your FYP, your own book pops up and you're like, whoa, then I was not ready for that. That's
Scary.
a jump. That's a jump scare. And that sometimes sometimes that would throw off my whole day because depending on what the person says, you don't
Sure.
know.
Yeah.
So now it's funny you bring that up because I've kind of cut back on social media and
Mm,
until at least I finish book two because I'm in the really thick of like last deadline of book two. I can't afford to be distracted. So what I do right now is actually turn off my phone for the whole day, which I'd never had to do before, and then write. And then when I do that, actually like it helps me concentrate on the work. I don't care what's happening out there. It's up to them, you know.
yeah.
So now I've cut back. But before a book comes out, you could really, I don't know, really throw your stuff into social media. At that point, you're allowed to. No one's really giving you that much feedback at that point, anyways. It's not gonna mess up with your headspace. So yeah.
That's so
Mm.
smart of just turning
That-
your phone off.
yeah.
It's actually getting really addicting to turn it off now. It's so good. I
Yeah.
feel so much happier. I'm like smiling throughout the day. And you realize how many hours you have in the day. It's so long. So I was like,
Yeah.
remember my fear of time? The one thing that's been eating up my time has been my phone. So see,
Mm.
changing.
You're right. It is addictive turning it off. Like it's really hard initially. I just put mine on silent and I put it upside down so I can't see
Okay.
it notifying me even the glow.
That. Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
everything. Like I don't think I've turned my phone on loud for like 3 years.
For sure. Mine has been on like silent for years. But if you go one step ahead and turn it off, that's
Ooh.
even like imagine.
That is
I
dangerous.
I
That's living
know. Ooh,
dangerously. I love
I
it.
know. I think I have no one that needs me, so I'm good right now. But if I have responsibilities and like children and stuff like that, it would be like I have to turn it on. Or I'll use a home phone. Use the normal phone phone. You just reach me
Yeah.
with that.
Oh my,
Mm.
I might have to try it and just know like, okay, my partner has his phone. If there's an emergency, somebody can get a hold of somebody, but like for me, like nobody
There
talk
you
to
go.
me. Oh my
Ah, yeah.
God.
I love
I
that.
swear, it's so good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I could use that. Especially like the elections just happened. I really could use just like
Yes.
shut the phone
Yeah.
off. I
Hmm.
might have to try
Hmm.
it. I might
Maybe
have to
get a
try it. I
spare
don't know.
one. Get a spare one and just put your kids' numbers and like your partner on it
Actually,
and
yeah.
separate.
But
No, yeah, like an
yeah,
old Nokia that doesn't even
that
have
one.
smartphone on it.
Don't be tempted. Yeah, you won't be tempted that way.
I might have to. Yeah, get like a
Yeah.
burner phone, like my little burner phone.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. You're just giving us so much advice. I
It's
love it so much. But for
I'm glad.
those who, I want to get back to the book, but like for
Oh
those
yeah.
who somehow don't know, can you tell our
Mhm.
listeners about Immortal Dark?
Okay. So Immortal Dark is a Black vampire meets Dark Academia book. It takes place somewhere in our world in a hidden university where vampires and students sort of coexist. And in this world, vampires can only feed on specific human families. And it's only the children of those families that attend this university and they learn how to become companions of vampires. So they have to study a very arcane philosophy in order to graduate and earn their vampire. And our main character, Kidan, has lived very far away from the society with her sister, June. And it's not until recently, June has been kidnapped by a vampire. That's, Ayuksa University. That's my vampire, but that's my university's name. And because of that, Kidan is determined to find her sister and bring the vampire that took June to justice. So she journeys back to Yuxley and she learns that in order to prove that the vampire took her sister, she has to first live with him and study this philosophy and immerse herself in this university. And it's mayhem. The two characters really hate each other, obviously, the vampire and Kidan. And they're both trying to get each other out of the house and trying to claim some sort of, power, but it doesn't go well. So a lot of enemies to lovers, murder mystery as well, and trying to find your lost sister.
Oh my gosh. I love. And I read in your bio that your comfort shows are watching when the villain gets the girl. So like
Yeah.
side question, like what are some of you told us one of them.
Yeah.
Is there others that are like your go-to when you just need to shut off?
You know, this one didn't really work out. There's this show called The 100 that started
Yes.
off. It didn't really, the ending did not really
Oh,
satisfy
No.
me. But
yeah.
honestly, the first couple of seasons though, where it was Bellamy and Clark,
Yeah.
Bellamy was such a villain to her, and then they were growing close and close, and I was like, please be together. It didn't work out. So I only watched up to a certain season, and then I just ignore the rest. But
Mm.
Klaus and Caroline from the original, from the Vampire Diaries, again, we get, you know what it is with these shows, the MC is attracted to the villain, but they never end up with them. I don't
Mm.
know why. And I really want shows that satisfy that. So I'm still looking for a lot of them, but I find it more maybe in like anime or like
Yes.
books more than I think books right now romantic is taking off really a lot. And a lot of the misunderstood villains end up with the girl now. So maybe the movies will catch up in a few years.
Working on it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucifer, well, actually, I'd never watched the last season, but it feels like Lucifer
Yeah,
feel
yes,
like
a
it
little
was
bit,
going
yeah.
there. Yeah. But yeah, I agree with the 100%.
Mm.
Uh, it was not a
Still,
good ending though.
I
Not
still think
happy.
about that. I still
I
think about
Yeah.
it
still
all.
think about it too. But the way the first couple seasons had me in a chokehold, I was like, this
Yeah,
is
it's
some of the
just
best.
such a amazing dynamic. Everything was just top tier.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Do you have a favorite anime?
Ooh, Naruto. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yes, I'm an anime girly, so you're speaking my
Yeah.
language.
Yes, I really love that. And I've been Attack on Titan. I've been trying to get into that. Like I'm on season 3.
That one I
Yeah.
did watch.
Did you
I
finish
did
it?
watch that. I think we have
Okay.
like the last one to watch that,
Yeah.
it just recently came out, but
Yeah.
we watched it
Okay.
during a
Okay.
lockdown, I think. I think is when my kids found it.
That's a
Yes,
dark
it's so
time to watch Attack on
I
Titan.
know
Like of all, I have to say during
that
lockdowns, that would be the last. That's when I stopped watching it. I was like hooked on the first season. I was like, no, I can't. I can't watch this right now.
okay.
It feels too real.
It was
That's
like the
true.
music for me was like when it was like rumbling, rumbling, like it would get me every time. I'm like, yes. I
The
don't
fir
know.
that first episode was so violent, where
Yeah.
the mother is just. If you haven't seen it, if you
Yeah.
guys remember the first episode with the titan comes and yeah,
Oh
okay,
yeah. I think
Yeah.
that's branded on my brain up there with some of the dark scenes from Full Metal Alchemist. So we
oh, I need to get into Full Metal. Like I've been hearing so many good things.
You absolutely put that to the top of your list. But fair warning, there
Okay,
is a few scenes in it that are
uh-huh.
comparable to that. Just you've been warned.
Okay, okay, I'm ready. I do like pain. I like pain in stories. It's good. Makes me feel
Yeah.
alive.
Actually, that might lead right into this next question, which is there
Yeah.
anything about your book that you'd like readers to know ahead of time? Maybe they
Mhm.
should expect
Uh,
pain.
it is quite dark. I would like to tell you that. And there's also a trigger warning list. But you really make sure to make that you're safe before you go into this book. Yeah, our main character really goes through a dark arc, and she does not think she is worthy of life. She does not think she's worth being forgiven because she's committed murder in the first page. That's not a spoiler. So
Mm.
I really explore morally gray characters in all ranges in this book because that's what, keeps me really interested. And I like to test people's values and at what point they break or change. I think that's what story is about. Do you embrace your values or do you just completely abandon them? So
Oh my
be
God.
yeah, prepare yourself to be challenged in some ways.
I have chills and I need you to watch Full Metal Alchemist tomorrow.
Okay.
It's very in
Okay.
line with
I-
everything you're saying.
I'll
There's
write it
two
down.
though. There's two. There's the first one and then there's Brotherhood. Watch them both. You're gonna
Okay.
want to
Okay.
watch both and then compare them. So one, they made it and they went ahead before the manga finished, and then the other
Okay.
one, they made it true to the manga. So, but you're gonna want to watch
Hmm.
both.
Done. I will. I will. Once this deadline is finished, this book
Yes.
deadline, I'm gonna
Yes,
be free.
yes.
Yes.
Well, I want to
Okay.
ask you, what do you think has been the hardest part about your journey so far?
Oh, that's a good question. If you had asked me that question 3 years ago, it would have been finishing a book. About 2 years ago, it would have been getting an agent. And
Mm.
about a year ago, it was just meeting these deadlines for my editor. And now that I've already sort of met the deadline for book one and I'm in book two, it's balancing my writing with my personal life and keeping my mental health uh sane.
Mm.
And I mean that in a way, like I have days where I just consume myself in my writing and I don't even see my friends or my family. And I'm like, whoa, 3 months has gone by. I'm like, see, that's not healthy. So I really need to balance my time in a way that just sustains all parts of my life. And sometimes that means saying no to things in this industry,
Mm.
saying no to like deadlines or like pushing back because I'm at capacity and I'm so afraid of burning out. So I think the hardest thing right now for me is how do I keep myself really sane? And I want to be in this industry for a long time. So how do I find that routine that works for me that doesn't exhaust me, just spiritually, mentally. So
Yes.
that's the hardest thing at this moment. But it changes every time. So
Mm.
yeah.
No, that's honest again is very relatable. And it going back to Hamilton, right? It's like we're running out of time, but truly like if if we can do what this for a lifetime or as long as, we feel like we want to, we do have to learn to balance or we will burn out.
For
And
sure.
it's so great of you to recognize that because it's so easy to just be all consumed by the work.
Yeah, yeah, you have to really pay attention to yourself and be like, okay, you can't always put this thing, which you love, above all others. There has to be some sort of, boundaries.
I feel like that's where the boundary gets crossed, right? Because we love it so much.
Mm,
To a point, it feels okay and even good to like push past a bit, to do a
exactly.
little bit of extra and you see how it pays off as well sometimes.
Mm,
So, but
mm,
I think it's like you said, when you feel that kind of burnout, that's the thing that we all fear, right? Because once you push
yes.
past that point, it's like a question of can I keep myself sane, you know? Like,
Yes, yes, yes. I think always mental health has to come first. That's been my biggest lesson this
yes.
year. It's just like once because if I'm mentally okay, I can handle anything. If that's just you have to protect that however you need to.
Mm,
Amen. Yep.
yes.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
like
Yep.
therapy session.
It
Yes.
was. I felt
Yes.
that deeply. I felt that deeply.
It's good.
Yeah. What has been like the best part of your journey so
Oh,
far?
well, the fact that I'm just living my dream in a way. I know, cheesy. Okay, sue me,
No, it's
guys. I had to
awesome.
say it. It really is. It just felt like an impossible dream for so long that if I went back and told my 15-year-old self, hey, if I tapped her on the shoulder and said, one day you will actually be writing these books on these shelves, insane. Like that's just an insane thing. And I still get goosebumps thinking about it sometimes that I've made it work. Like I don't know how, I don't know what happened, but I did it. This goal that I've had for so long inside me. And that's always going to be the rewarding part of it. And now that readers are finding it and they're telling me that my book has somehow brightened their day, helped them in some way, I'm like, that's what I've been wanting to do since I started Wattpad on,
Mm.
on when I was 15 and hoping people would comment. That's basically what I've been searching for. So I got it after 10 years. So thank you. That's what I'm saying. Like it's just a beautiful thing to be in right now, this industry. Yeah, it's amazing.
I love it. Don't hold back with the cheese. Our podcast is all
Yeah.
about the good vibes and the cheese, and that's what we live for. And like, yeah, otherwise, what's the
Yeah.
point, right? If it's not filling that part of you and bringing joy.
Yes.
I see we're
Yeah,
like down
honestly.
to the last couple minutes, so I want to ask you
Oh,
one of our favorite questions, which is looking
okay.
back on everything you've achieved so far. Is there something you wish you could tell young you? If
Yes, for sure. I would tell her a couple of things. I would tell her um there is you will never feel ready to put out a book. I would want to really make that clear because there's this myth that I had when I was younger that once I know how to do a character arc or how to write beautiful setting, beautiful description, beautiful prose, I would have this sense inside me that tells me I'm ready to be an author. That feeling will never come. Because there is just so many things to discover in writing a story. And everything I learned for Immortal Dark is not necessarily true for its second book. So I'm always discovering something new that I'm lacking in myself. And it's always with that fear that you have to put out a book. Like it's always with that sense of, I'm never gonna really, nail it specifically. And it's always has to be good enough, which is what some Elizabeth Gilbert says in Big Magic, which is a really good book. If you haven't read it, she says that it's time for me to shift my attention to something new, something that would also someday be released as good enough. And I'm like, that's how you have to do it. So it's not perfect. Good enough is where you're gonna have to live, like you have to be comfortable in that. Yeah. So
Mhm.
that's my advice.
Okay.
I
Yes. We talk
Oh, it's
about Big
funny.
Magic often. And I
Oh,
think it's
it's such a
about
good
time for
book.
a reread because it is
Yeah.
so powerful. And what you had to just say right now is so powerful.
Yeah,
Um,
I
yeah,
love it.
my heart is full. There she is. Big
Yeah.
Magic, baby.
You gotta read it, honestly, guys. It helps
Oh
you.
yeah, it's literally like changes so much in your brain about how you see a
Oh,
creative life. But
Yeah.
you are big magic. Thank you for coming on here
oh,
and
thank
sharing
you.
your big giant magic with us.
Big
I
time.
do feel like I had a writer therapy session. So yeah, I'm really
Oh, I love
great.
it.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much for
much.
having me. This
No,
has been
thank
so
you.
wonderful. And good luck to both of you in this, wild industry. And I can't wait for to read A Cruel Thirst. Where is it coming
Yeah.
out? Shout out the date, please.
Yeah, December 17th and then in the
Yes.
UK, January 16th,
Yes,
which I
yes.
don't know if
Okay,
we've
I can't
announced
wait.
yet, but oh well,
Oh,
Oh yeah, no, we
okay.
did. We did. We did. We're good. We're good. But thank you.
But yeah,
Congratulations on everything. Thank you for joining us,
beautiful.
seriously.
Thank you. You guys are lovely. I love what you do. Keep going.